I found the hidden door in my basement last week, behind a metal shelf that had been here longer than I have. The house is from 1909, all crown molding and cracked plaster, and the kind of creaks that feel like someone else is walking a step behind you. I bought it after the divorce, after my mother's funeral, telling myself that an old place with bones already worn down by time would forgive my own.
The basement has always been a mouth that never quite closes. Cold breath, damp tongue. The smell down there is part mildew, part rust, and a faint sweetness that doesn't belong, like fruit that was left somewhere you can't find. I was sliding the shelf when the cold found me, a strand of winter uncoiling across my wrists. The draft slipped through a seam in the wall. When I pulled the unit away, there it was, a small wooden door, paint peeling in curls like dead petals, a keyhole where a knob should be. It hadn't been on the inspection, I hadn't seen it, but it looked like it had been waiting. I could have ignored it. I told myself I would. I told myself I'd go upstairs, pour a drink, text someone, anyone. I didn't. Curiosity is just hunger by another name, and I have always been ravenous for what I shouldn't know. YouTube taught me how to pick a lock in lockdown. It took less than a minute. The door sighed open like a held breath, and the smell that rolled out was wrong metallic, damp, and that same faint sweetness, stronger now, like a bruise you can taste. Stone steps spiraled down, tight as a throat. I stood at the top and listened. Water somewhere, or something pretending to be water. My flashlight found smooth walls, mortarless, like they'd grown here around whatever waited below. The darkness drank the light and asked for more. I went down. One step, two, the wood above me, the pipes, the familiar noises receded, and there was only the spiral and the sound and the way my reflection bent in the lens of my flashlight as my hands shook. The walls brushed my shoulders cold and close. I felt the house pressing in. Not maliciously, not kindly, just present. Like I had woken it by saying its name. At the bottom, a circular chamber, its stones polished to a dull sheen by countless palms or years of condensation sliding skin slow. In the center, a well, not a country well with a bucket and a crank, but a mouth in the stone, its lip worn smooth as bone. My light swept the walls, and the words found me. Scratched, carved, gouged in layers and hands, some barely marks, some neat and patient. Do not look down. Over and over. Do not look down. A child's jagged script beside an elegant looping hand. A nail had done some of them. Others had the clean, cold bite of a blade. My chest tightened. I stepped back. The well made a sound like wet fabric being wrung out. My flashlight hiccuped. In that instant of dark, there was a whisper. Help me. 2 words, soft enough to be anything.
But it wasn't anything. It had the shape of a voice I knew too well.
the tired lilt my mother had on those last voicemails I'd let go to text. Help me. I should have run. I leaned. The beam bled into the well and didn't come back. The surface below was not water so much as a thought pretending to be water. Flat, black, patient. The words on the wall prickled at my back. Do not look down. Something moved, a ripple, delicate as breath. Then a bulge, a shape breaking the plane. For a moment I told myself it was a face, pale. But the proportions were wrong. The eyes were too large, round and lidless, drinking everything. The mouth was a curve of teeth too fine, too many. When it rose further, when whatever it was smiled, it looked like a mistake a craftsman made on purpose. The sound came again, closer, clearer. Help me. I don't remember deciding to run. The stairs shifted under me, longer, shorter. The light spat and died and came back. I knew the feeling of a hand closing around my ankle, even as I told myself it was only the lip of the step, a snag, a trick. The door at the top was so close, and then, somehow, it was open, and I was in my kitchen with my back against the cabinet and the basement door locked, and the house listening. That night, the house learned a new sound. Scratching, low and patient, traveling the studs like mice that know your name. I lay awake and counted the spaces between scratches. The way you measure contractions, the way you measure time between old mistakes and new ones. At 3 a.m., I went to get water and found a wet ring on the hallway floor, as if something had stood there dripping and waited to see if I'd noticed. By morning, there were muddy footprints leading from the basement door to my bed. The mud was the color of old bruises. The prints were almost human, but not quite. The second toe was too long, the arch too shallow. I took pictures. In every photo, the hallway was empty, and the prints looked like shadows pretending to be anything else. I haven't gone back down. I slid the shelf across the door and stacked it with boxes of winter clothes I never wear, and a shoebox of sympathy cards I didn't open. The house feels heavier now. The air upstairs is thicker, as if the walls are damp with a breath that isn't mine. At night, the scratching becomes words, not speech exactly, more like the suggestion of language. The cadence is right. The meaning is wrong. Help me, it says. Help me. Sometimes it uses her voice. Sometimes it uses mine. I tell myself I'm sleepwalking, that I made the prints. The grief can mimic anything if you feed it long enough. I set my phone to record on the nightstand. In the morning, there is hours of quiet. And then my own voice, soft and distant, whispering from the other side of wood. Do not look down. Today, I found something in the kitchen sink. A small curl of paint, the same gray-green as the door behind the shelf. Wet, fresh, I hadn't opened it. I haven't opened it. There are knocks now. Slow, measured, the rhythm of a heart that has learned patience. Between them I hear breathing. Mine, the house's, something else. The last scratch across the inside of the basement door trails upward like a question. I put my palm against the wood. It is cold. It is warm. It feels like an animal deciding whether to bite. The words come again, precise as teeth. Help. When I back away, the house seems to lean after me. The lights dim a fraction, as if something far below is taking a little more. I won't open it. I tell myself that I won't.
But the thing about hunger is that it sounds so much like need. The thing about guilt is that it speaks with your mother's voice. There is a smaller door upstairs in the hallway that the contractors swore opened to nothing. As I write this, I can hear it downstairs and upstairs and behind my teeth all at once. A latch settling, a tongue in a mouth. The old wood inhale.